Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty, watching the stars pass by through the main screen. The ship moved quietly through space on its patrol mission. Everything was normal and peaceful. The crew worked at their stations, checking systems and watching for any problems. "Captain, we're getting something strange on the communications," said Lieutenant Commander Lisa Park. She sat at her station with a worried look on her face. "It's not like anything we've seen before." Jake walked over to her station. "What kind of signal?" "It's alien, sir. Very weak and breaking up. But it sounds like a distress call." Lisa worked on her controls, trying to make the signal clearer. The computer is trying to translate it now. The bridge became quiet as everyone listened. Strange sounds came from the speakers. The alien words were high and musical, but they sounded scared and desperate. "Translation coming through now, sir," Lisa said. She read from her screen. "They call themselves the Zilani. They're asking for help. Their planet is under attack." Commander Ryan Hughes looked up from his tactical station. "Zilani? Never heard of them before? Are they in our database?" "Checking now," said Commander Nathan Cross from the science station. "Yes, here they are. Peaceful species. They don't have any weapons or military. They're plant eaters, and they don't fight wars." Jake felt his stomach tighten. A peaceful species under attack meant trouble. "What else does the message say?" Lisa listened to more of the signal. Her face grew pale. "They say their world is being destroyed. Ships are bombing their cities. They have no way to fight back. They're asking anyone who can hear this to help." "Them, how long do they have?" Jake asked. "Signal is old, sir. It took time to reach us." "But based on what they're saying, ... double quotes." Lisa paused. "Maybe a few hours at most." Ryan checked his computers. "I'm finding their location. Planet called Zephyria. It's about 6 hours away if we push the engines hard." "What about the attackers?" Jake asked. "The Zilani call them the Korthok Empire?" "I'm pulling up what we know about them." Ryan's face grew serious. "They're bad news, Captain. They attack peaceful worlds and take what they want. They have a big fleet." "How big?" "The reports say they usually attack with 50 or more warships, all heavily armed." Jake felt the weight of the decision on his shoulders. One human ship against 50 alien warships? It sounded like suicide, but the Zilani had no one else to help them, said Chief Engineer Carlos Rivera over the CUM system. "I heard the talk up there. We're going to help those people. I can push the engines harder. Get us there faster." "That could damage the ship," Jake said. "Better a damaged ship than dead innocents, sir." Jake looked around the bridge. His crew was waiting for his decision. He could see in their faces that they wanted to help. It was the human way. When someone was in trouble, you helped them, even if it was dangerous. Lisa sent a message back to the Zilani. "Tell them help is coming. Tell them to hold on." "Yes, sir." "Ryan, plot a course for Zephyria. Maximum speed." "Course laid in, Captain." "Carlos, give me everything the engines can handle. I don't care if we burn them out." "You got it, sir." "Engines at full power." The ship shook as the engines roared to life. Jake felt the acceleration push him back in his chair. The USS Liberty jumped forward, racing through space toward a world under attack. "Dr. Amy Watson to the bridge," Jake said into his CUM. "On." "My way, Captain," came the reply. A few minutes later, the ship's doctor arrived on the bridge. She was a small woman with kind eyes, but Jake knew she was tough. She had to be to work in space. "Doctor, we're heading into a fight. Probably a bad one. I need you to get the medical bay ready for casualties." "How many wounded should I expect?" "I don't know, maybe all of us." Amy nodded. "I'll be ready, Captain. My team knows what to do." Jake watched the stars streak past on the screen. The ship was moving faster than it ever had before. He hoped it would be fast enough. "Captain," said Lisa, "I'm still getting signals from the Zilani world. They're getting weaker." "What are they?" "Saying they're thanking us for coming. They say no one has ever helped them before. Most species just ignore their calls for help. Why would they ignore a distress call?" Nathan answered from his station. "Most alien species don't like to fight, sir. They avoid conflict. They think it's better to stay safe than risk their own people." That's not the human way, Jake said. No, sir, it's not. Jake thought about Earth and how humans had evolved. His planet was a dangerous place. Storms, earthquakes, wild animals, diseases. Humans had learned to fight to survive. They'd learned to help each other when things got bad. Other species came from easier worlds. They didn't understand what it meant to fight for survival. How long until we reach Zephyria? Jake asked. 5 hours and 30 minutes, Ryan answered. Keep monitoring those signals. I want to know everything we can about the situation.
Yes.
Sir Jake sat back in his captain's chair. He knew what they were flying into. 50 enemy ships against one human vessel. Any reasonable person would call it hopeless. But Jake had learned something important during his years in space. Oh, humans weren't reasonable. They were something else entirely. The USS Liberty raced through space, carrying hope to a dying world. Behind them, Earth grew smaller. Ahead of them, an impossible battle waited. But Captain Jake Morrison and his crew were ready to show the galaxy what humans could do when innocent people needed help. The distress signal continued to play on the bridge speakers. Zilani voices grew weaker, but they never stopped calling for help. Soon, they would learn that their call had been heard by the right species. The humans were coming, and they brought the fury of a death world with them. The USS Liberty dropped out of warp speed at the edge of the Zephyria system. What Captain Jake Morrison saw on the main screen made his blood run cold. The beautiful blue and green planet was surrounded by dark smoke clouds. Fires burned across entire continents. Above the world, 50 massive alien warships floated like hungry predators. My God, whispered Lisa Park from her communications station. They're destroying everything. The Korthok ships were huge and black, covered in sharp angles and weapon ports. They moved in perfect formation around the planet, taking turns to fire their energy beams down at the surface. Each blast created a new explosion on the world below. I'm seeing civilian ships trying to escape, said Ryan Hughes from Tactical. Small ones, no weapons. The Korthok are hunting them down like animals. Jake watched a tiny Zilani ship try to run from 2 Korthok destroyers. The alien vessel was slow and clumsy. The Korthok ships caught it icily and blew it apart with their laser cannons. Jake's hands tightened into fists. Nathan, scan those Korthok ships. I want to know everything. About them, Jake ordered Commander Nathan Cross worked at his science station, studying the enemy vessels. After a few minutes, he looked up with surprise on his face. Captain, these ships are built very differently from ours. Their hulls are thick but light. They're designed to stop energy weapons, not physical impacts. And look at this. They're artificial. Gravity is set very low. What does that mean? Has aliens evolved on a world with weak gravity, sir? Maybe 1/3 of Earth's gravity. Their bones are thin and light. Their muscles are weak compared to ours. Jake started to understand. They've never had to deal with Earth's crushing gravity. That's right, sir. And there's more. Their ship. Designs show they've never fought anyone who uses kinetic weapons. No railguns, no missiles, no projectiles. They only know energy-based combat. Ryan looked up from his station. Captain, they're hailing us. The Korthok commander wants to talk. It on screen. The main display changed to show the inside of a Korthok bridge. The alien commander was tall and thin, with pale gray skin and large black eyes. He wore a uniform covered in strange symbols. Human vessel, the alien said in perfect English. I am Admiral Dekmer of the Korthok Empire. You will leave this system immediately. This world belongs to us now. This world belongs to the Zilani, Jake replied. You're committing genocide. The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. The Zilani are weak. They cannot defend themselves. In the galaxy, the strong take what they want from the weak. This is natural law, not where I come from. We're on one small ship against 50% of ours. You cannot win. Leave now, and we will not destroy you. Jake stood up from his chair. A better idea. You leave now, and I won't destroy you. The alien commander stared at Jake like he was insane. You threaten me? One ship against 50? Are you mentally damaged? Maybe, but I'm from Earth. We do things differently there, Earth. The alien's face changed. He looked confused and a little worried. I have heard whispers about that world. They say it is a death world. Is this true? Why don't you find out? Admiral Deckmer studied Jake's face. You are serious. You actually intend to fight us. I intend to stop you from murdering innocent people. This is impossible. No rational species would fight such odds. You must be bluffing. Jake smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. Nathan, explain to the Admiral what kind of world Earth is. Nathan turned to face the screen. Admiral, Earth has gravity twice as strong as most inhabited worlds. Now, weather includes storms that can destroy cities. We have earthquakes that split the ground open. Our oceans have waves taller than buildings. We share our world with creatures that can kill us with claws, teeth, venom, and disease. Humans evolved by fighting for survival every single day. The alien admiral's face grew pale. That is impossible. No species could survive such conditions. We didn't just survive, Jake said. We thrived. And now we're going to show you what Death World evolution produces. Jake cut the communication and turned to his crew. All hands, battle stations. This is what we trained for. Alarms rang throughout the ship. The bridge lights changed to red. Everyone moved with smooth, practiced efficiency. Jake watched his crew prepare for battle and felt proud. These were his people, Earth's children. It's of the most dangerous world in the galaxy. Carlos, I need the engines to give us acceleration that would kill most aliens, Jake said into his comm. You got it, Captain? I'm setting the compensators for human tolerance. Any alien on this ship would be crushed. Perfect. Ryan, load the kinetic projectiles. Forget the energy weapons. Kinetic rounds loaded, sir. The aliens won't know what hit them. Marine Sergeant Kelly Torres' voice came over the comm. Captain, my squad is ready for boarding operations. We've trained in zero-gravity combat. Most aliens get sick just thinking about it. Good. Lisa. Jam their communications. Use the cyber warfare programs we developed on Earth. Already working on it, sir. Their computer systems are simple compared to Earth technology. Jake looked at the tactical display. Korthok ships were moving into attack formation. They still thought they were facing a normal alien species. They had no idea what humans were capable of. Amy, how are the medical preparations?
All ready?
For anything, Captain. I've treated injuries from Earth's worst environments. Nothing these aliens can do will surprise me. Jake sat back in his command chair. Round him, his crew worked with the calm efficiency of predators. They showed no fear, only focus. This was what made humans different. They had learned to be calm in chaos, to think clearly when death was close. The Korthok ships finished their formation and began to advance. Admiral Vekmer probably thought the humans would run when they saw the overwhelming force coming at them. He was about to learn that humans don't run from a fight when innocent lives are at stake. He was about to discover why the galaxy whispered about the death world called Earth and the impossible creatures it had produced. All stations ready. Captain, Ryan reported. Then let's show them what Earth's children can do, Jake said. Attack. The USS Liberty shot forward like a bullet from a gun. Major Alex Carter, the ship's pilot, pushed the engines to maximum power. The acceleration would have crushed most alien bones, but the human crew barely noticed. They were built for Earth's heavy gravity and violent storms. Incoming fire, shouted Ryan Hughes from Tactical. Bright energy beams streaked past the Liberty as the Korthok ships opened fire. The aliens aimed where they thought the human ship would be, but Alex was already somewhere else. He flew the ship in patterns that made no sense to alien minds. Up, down, spinning, diving movements that would make most species sick with fear. They can't hit us, Alex called out with a grin. They're too slow. The Korthok ships tried to follow the Liberty's wild movements, but their crews couldn't handle the stress. Admiral Vekmer screamed orders at his pilots, but they were already doing their best. The human ship moved like a living thing, impossible to predict. Target their lead ship, Jake ordered. Fire kinetic rounds, Lieutenant Ben Shaw pressed. The firing button. Metal slugs shot from the Liberty's guns at incredible speed. The Korthok admiral's ship shook as the projectile smashed into its hull. Holes appeared in the alien vessel's armor. Impossible, came Admiral Lechmer's voice over the radio. Those are primitive weapons. Primitive but effective, Jake replied. You built your ships to stop energy beams, not metal bullets. The Korthok flagship's hull cracked and split. Air rushed out into space. Ship began to spin out of control. Other Korthok vessels moved to help their admiral, but that gave Jake the opening he needed. Kelly, take your Marines and board that damaged ship, Jake ordered. On our way, Captain, came Sergeant Kelly Torres's reply. Small human shuttles launched from the Liberty. They flew straight at the spinning Korthok ship. Most alien species would never try to board a damaged vessel spinning in space. It was too dangerous, too chaotic. But humans had learned to work in dangerous conditions. Kelly and her Marines reached the alien ship and cut through its hull with plasma torches. They floated into the vessel in zero gravity, something that terrified most aliens. The Korthok soldiers inside were already sick from their ships spinning. They could barely stand, let alone fight. This is too easy, Kelly reported over her radio. These aliens can't handle zero gravity at all. They're throwing up and can barely move. The human Marines moved through the ship like they were walking in a park. They captured the engine room and weapons control in minutes. The Korthok crew surrendered without much of a fight. Meanwhile, the Liberty continued its attack on the main fleet. Carlos Rivera, the chief engineer, did something that would give most aliens nightmares. He deliberately overloaded the ship's reactor. Carlos, what are you doing? Jake asked with concern. Trust me, Captain. I'm going to create a controlled explosion. It'll take out 6 ships at once. Any other species would call this insane, if you don't blow up your own ship's power source on purpose. But humans had learned to use disasters as weapons. Carlos knew exactly how much power to release, and when to contain it. The Liberty's reactor glowed bright white. Energy poured out in all directions. 6 Kortho ships were caught in the blast, and their systems failed. They went dark and began drifting helplessly. Reactor stable, Carlos reported calmly. Minor damage to our hull, but we're fine, Admiral. Lechmer watched in horror as his fleet fell apart. What kind of beings are these? He whispered. The answer came from Dr. Amy Watson. She was treating wounded Korthok prisoners that Kelly's Marines had captured. Even in the middle of battle, she worked to save lives, both human and alien. Captain Amy reported over the comm. These aliens are physically weak. Their bones break easily. They can't handle stress like we can. They're not evil, just scared. The wounded ones are crying for their families. This was what made humans truly dangerous. They could be warriors and healers at the same time. They could show mercy too. Enemies while destroying their ships. They confused and frightened other species. The battle continued around Zephyria. The Liberty danced between enemy ships, striking hard and disappearing before return fire could hit. More human shuttles launched, carrying Marines to board disabled Korthok vessels. Commander Nathan Cross made another important discovery. Captain, their ships are all connected by communication links. If we can hack their network, we might be able to shut down their entire fleet. Do it, Jake ordered. Nathan worked at his station. Using computer programs developed on Earth, human cyber warfare had evolved from centuries of digital conflict. The Korthok had never seen anything like it. I'm in their system, Nathan reported. Their security is basic. They never expected anyone to attack their computers. One by one, Korthok ships began to malfunction. Their weapons stopped working. Their engines shut down. Their life support systems failed. The aliens had made their ships too dependent on computer networks, and humans were experts at breaking computers. This is impossible, Admiral Lechmer screamed. No species fights like this. Jake opened a communication channel to all the Korthok ships. You're right, Admiral. No other species fights like humans. We learned to fight on a world that tried to kill us every day. We learned to turn disasters into weapons. We learned to work together when everything goes wrong. The Korthok fleet was falling apart. Half their ships were disabled or captured. The others were trying to retreat, but the Liberty was too fast. Alex Carter chased them down while Ben Shaw picked them off with kinetic rounds. We surrender. Admiral Deckmer finally called out, "Please, no more. We surrender." Jake looked. Around his bridge, his crew was tired but alive. They had done the impossible. One human ship had defeated 50 alien warships. But Jake knew this was just the beginning. "Korthok vessels. This is Captain Morrison," Jake announced. "You will leave this system immediately. If you ever attack innocent people again, we will find you. Next time we'll bring more ships." The surviving Korthok vessels limped away into space. Admiral Vesmer's final message was a warning too. His empire. Stay away from the humans. They are not like us. They are something else entirely. The Korthok ships retreated into the darkness of space, but Captain Jake Morrison knew the battle wasn't over. The real work was just beginning. The planet Zephoria was badly damaged, and thousands of Zilani civilians needed help. "Lisa, open communications with the Zilani survivors," Jake ordered. "Already working on it, Captain," Lisa Park replied from her station. "I'm getting signals from all over the planet. Rescue shelters, hospitals, evacuation sites. They're all asking for help." Jake looked at the tactical display. His crew had won an impossible victory, but now they faced an even bigger challenge. How do you save an entire civilization with just one ship? Nathan scanned the planet. "I need to know how bad the damage is," Jake said. Commander Nathan Cross worked at his science station. After several minutes, he looked up with a grim expression. "Captain, it's worse than we thought. 3 major cities are completely destroyed. The Korthak bombs created fires that are spreading across entire continents. And there's something
else."
What?
The planet's atmosphere is filling with smoke and ash. If we don't do something soon, the whole world will become too cold to support life. The Zilani have maybe 2 days before their planet becomes uninhabitable." Jake felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. They had saved the Zilani from the Korthok, but the planet was still dying. How many survivors are there? About 2 million, scattered across the planet. Most are in underground shelters. Just how many can we evacuate with our ship? Nathan did quick calculations. Maybe 5,000 at most, if we pack them in tight. The bridge became quiet. Everyone understood the problem. They could save some of the Zilani, but not all of them. It wasn't enough. Captain came Amy Watson's voice over the com. "Getting medical reports from the planet. The Zilani are suffering from smoke poisoning and burns. Their medical knowledge is basic. They don't know how to treat these kinds of injuries." Jake made a decision. "Amy, take a medical team to the surface. Help them set up proper treatment centers. Use our Earth medical techniques. But Captain, our medical supplies won't be enough for 2 million people? Then we'll have to get creative. We're humans. We specialize in impossible situations." Meanwhile, Carlos Rivera was working on his own solution. "Captain, I have an idea. About the atmospheric problem. If we can use the Liberty's engines in reverse, we might be able to create wind patterns that push the smoke away from the inhabited areas. Is that safe? Probably not, but it might buy us more time. Do it." The USS Liberty moved into position above the planet's largest fire zone. Carlos reversed the ship's engines, creating powerful air currents that began pushing the smoke and ash away from the Zilani cities. It was dangerous work. The ship shook violently as it fought against the planet's atmosphere. "Hull stress at maximum," reported Alex Carter from the pilot's seat, "but we're holding together." On the planet's surface, Amy Watson and her medical team were working miracles. They had landed in one of the largest Zilani refugee camps. The aliens were amazed by human medical knowledge. "How do you know so much about treating burns and smoke damage?" asked healer Zara, one of the Zilani doctors. "Our world has wildfires that can burn for months," Amy explained while treating a young Zilani child. "We've learned to deal with these problems. On Earth, forest fires are common. We know how to help people who breathe too much smoke." The Zilani watched in wonder as Amy's team set up water purification systems, built temporary hospitals, and organized evacuation procedures. The humans worked with calm efficiency, even in the chaos of a dying world. Back on the Liberty, Lisa Park was coordinating rescue efforts across the entire planet. "Captain, I'm in contact with 47 different Zilani groups. They're sending me locations of survivors, medical needs, and evacuation priorities. Can you handle all that information at once, yes, sir? Human brains evolved to process multiple threats simultaneously. Most aliens can only focus on one problem at a time. Jake realized this was another human advantage. On Earth, their ancestors had to watch for predators, find food, navigate terrain, and communicate with their tribe all at the same time. This had made human brains very good at multitasking. Sergeant Kelly Torres called in from the captured Korthak ships. Captain, we've secured 12 enemy vessels. Aliens abandoned them when they retreated. These ships have cargo holds that could carry thousands of refugees. Can we fly them? The basic controls are simple enough. My Marines are learning the systems now. We might not be able to fight with them, but we can use them as transport ships. Jake smiled. This was the human way. Take your enemy's tools and use them to help people. Do it. Get those ships ready to evacuate civilians. Another discovery. Captain, I'm detecting other signals from deep space. They're faint, but I think they're more distress calls. Other worlds under attack by the Korthak. How many? At least 3 different star systems, while sending desperate pleas for help. Jake looked at his crew. They were tired from the battle, but their eyes showed determination. They had saved one world, but there were others that needed help, Sir Lisa said quietly. The Zilani are asking us something, so they want to know why we helped them. They say in all their history, no other species has ever come to their aid when they called for help. What did you tell them? I told them it's what humans do. We help people who can't help themselves. The Zilani elder named Cathara appeared on the main screen. The old alien had tears in his large eyes. Captain Morrison, we do not understand your species. You risked everything to save strangers. This is not logical. Maybe not, Jake replied. But it's right. We have no way to repay you for what you have done. We don't want payment. We want you to survive and rebuild your world. The alien elder was quiet for a long moment. The galaxy will hear of this day. They will learn that there is a species that fights not for conquest, but for justice. Humans have shown us that there is still hope in the universe. Jake looked at the stars on the main screen. Somewhere out there, other innocent people were calling for help. The USS Liberty was just one ship, but it carried the spirit of Earth. And that spirit said, you never abandon those who need you, no matter the cost. 3 weeks had passed since the battle at Zephoria. The USS Liberty floated in orbit around the healing planet, watching as the Zilani slowly rebuilt their world. The fires were out, the smoke was clearing, and life was returning to the damaged cities. Captain Jake Morrison stood in the ship's observation deck, looking down at the blue and green world below. It was hard to believe that just weeks ago this planet had been dying. Now Zilani ships moved between their cities, carrying supplies and people. The survivors were going home. Captain, came Lisa Park's voice over the comm. We're getting a transmission from Earth. Admiral Brooks wants to speak with you. Jake made his way to the bridge. Admiral Brooks appeared on the main screen, sitting behind his desk at Earth Command. The old man looked serious, but Jake could see pride in his eyes. Captain Morrison, the Admiral began, read your report. About the Zephoria incident, a one-human ship against 50 alien warships. Under normal circumstances, I would say you were reckless and endangered your crew unnecessarily. Jake felt his heart sink. Sir, however, the Admiral continued with a slight smile, these were not normal circumstances. You saved 2 million innocent lives. The entire galaxy is talking about what happened at Zephoria. The Korthak Empire has declared they will never attack a world under human protection again. We were just doing our job, sir. No, Captain, you were doing something much more important. You were showing the galaxy what humanity stands for. The Admiral's expression grew more serious. Jake, I need to tell you something. Since the battle at Zephoria, we've received over 300 requests for help from different alien species. Peaceful worlds that are being threatened by aggressive empires. They're all asking for human protection. Jake felt the weight of those words. 300 worlds. Millions, maybe billions of innocent lives. What are our orders, sir? We're building more ships, training more crews. The President has authorized the creation of the Human Defense Fleet. Our mission is to protect those who cannot protect themselves. End. The Liberty? You and your crew will be the first official human defense ship. Congratulations, Captain. You've started something that will change the galaxy forever. The transmission ended, and Jake looked around his bridge. His crew had heard everything. They would be the first of many human ships dedicated to protecting innocent life throughout the galaxy. Well, crew, Jake said with a smile. It looks like we have job security. Everyone laughed, but Jake could see the determination in their faces. They were ready for whatever came next. Dr. Amy Watson's voice came over the comm. Captain, the Zilani delegation is ready to meet with you in the conference room. Jake made his way to the meeting room, where several Zilani leaders waited. Elder Cathera stood as Jake entered. The old alien looked much healthier than he had. 3 weeks ago, Captain Morrison Cathara said, "We have come to make a formal request. What can I do for you?" "We wish to establish an embassy on your homeworld. We want to learn more about the planet that could produce beings like you." Jake was surprised. "You want to come to Earth?" "We know it is a dangerous world, what you call a death world. But we believe that if we are to understand humans, we must see where you come from." Another Zilani, a younger female named Silenith, stepped forward. "Captain, we have studied your species since the battle. You are predators, yes? Your ancestors hunted other creatures for food, that's right. But you also protect the weak. You risk your lives for strangers. This confuses us. How can a species be both predator and protector?" Jake thought about how to explain it. "On Earth, we learn that the strong have a responsibility to protect the weak. We hunt, but we also care for our young, our elderly, our sick. We learn that a tribe survives only when everyone looks out for everyone else, even those who are not part of your tribe, especially them, because today's stranger might be tomorrow's friend." Sileneth nodded slowly. "This is wisdom we do. Not possess. We would like to learn it." "You're welcome on Earth," Jake said. "But I should warn you. Our gravity is very heavy. Our weather is violent. Our people can be loud and chaotic." Elder Cathara smiled. "We are not afraid, Captain. If a world could create beings like you, then it is a world worth knowing." Several days later, the USS Liberty prepared to leave Zephyria. The planet was stable now. The Zilani had their own defense forces being trained by human marines. Other human ships were on their way to provide permanent protection. As the Liberty prepared to depart, Jake received one final message from the Zilani. It was from a group of young Zilani who had been inspired by the human example. "Captain Morrison," the message said, "we are forming the Zilani Defense Corps. We cannot fight like humans, but we can learn to protect others who are weaker than us. You have taught us that strength without compassion is meaningless, but compassion without strength cannot help anyone." Jake felt proud as he read those words. The humans hadn't just saved the Zilani, it inspired them to become protectors themselves. "Set course for the Altair system," Jake ordered. "We've received a distress call from there." "Another rescue mission?" asked Ryan Hughes. "Another chance to help," Jake corrected, as the USS Liberty jumped to warp speed. Heading toward another world in need, Jake thought about the future. Galaxy was a dangerous place, full of predators who preyed on the weak, but now it also had protectors. Humans had shown that strength could be used for justice instead of conquest. The message was spreading throughout the galaxy. On distant worlds, species that had given up hope were starting to believe again. Help was coming. The humans were coming, and in the depths of space, the Korthok Empire and others like them were learning a new truth. There was a species in the galaxy that would fight them, a species that had emerged from a death world with the power to destroy, but chose instead to protect. The age of human guardianship had begun. The galaxy would never be the same.